Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk About, hosted by Fastlane. Today we're going to talk about Azure Virtual Machines. My name is Arturo Hamilton and I welcome you to this video. The first thing we need to know is how to access our portal. Once we are in an Azure portal, we will be ready to start the creation of our virtual computer, the one that will be hosted in Azure. So, we have the option of clicking directly over create a resource. If we know the type of device we want, we can search for it, or we can go for the easy way, click on the virtual machines tab, and from there, click on add. Once we click on add, we will start with our virtual machine. So let's take a look on it. These are the values and objects that we will have to add when we are deploying our virtual machine. The first thing that you'll see is a subscription. In this case, we're using an Azure Pass, so we are under a sponsorship. You may have more than one that you will select from here. The next thing is to select a resource group. If we don't have one, we're going to create one of our resource groups so we can use it and have it ready. Okay. Now let's get our hands into the actual virtual machine. The first thing we will do is to define a name. It needs to be a unique name used internally in our tenant. So we can create something like virtual machine underscore Windows Server 2016 underscore Fastlane demo. Something like this. Everything is valid as you can see, except if we are trying to create a Linux device. Since we are not going to go for that one, we might have the option of skip it. Let's take a look. If we select after it the region, we have 35 regions available. We can select from all of them. I'm using a sponsorship so I won't have all those available, but we can select based on our location. Important in here for all of you viewers, if you are creating a device and you are on the East Coast, but the device is supposed to be accessed on the West Coast, the best practice suggests that you go for that location. Okay? That will make it easier and faster for the users on that end to work with it. Let's go here and select West US. We can select one of the ones available. Let's see if we have it. There it is. And we can keep it up with that one. The next thing is to select something called the availability options. What will happen in here? We can add multiple copies of the same device included on the host directly over the computer host on the same data center where the machine will be created. This means West US. This is not a continuity plan. This is not a high availability solution. This is just a resiliency plan that we can add to create an availability set. Okay, so it's not mandatory. We'll talk about in a different video about these availability options. And then let's take a look on the images. If we change this one to Windows Server, then we'll have everything change. You can see we got some changes. What is missing then in here? Let's take a look. Maybe we have the underscores. There we are, and now we're ready to work. What happens if we add a dash? If at the end of the day, guys, this is what I want you to see. You need to have a specific naming convention. You can use this dash, okay? Just want you to see what happened when you use the underscore and the reason why we're changing it now. Okay, we have the name, the region, the availability set, and the image. Let's take a look on the sizes. This is where we pay, guys. This is where the money comes. So we need to select the size according to our needs. Some things in here we can change at any moment and we'll have everything ready to be set up. Let's go for a small size. Let's take something like the S2 with 2 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of RAM, sorry, 2 CPUs, etc. Let's add an account. This is the local admin account. Okay, so keep in mind a user that will be logged in locally speaking. Let's go for a password. You are under quite a complex password policy, so I will recommend that you have a strong definition for it. As you can see, I'm using 13 characters, combining letters, combining capitals, lowercase, special characters, and numbers. That's our recommendation. Do you want to use this computer to public connections? Yes, I want to have remote connections. So I'll go for HTTPS and RDP, so I can connect remotely anytime I want using an RDP console. There we are. A tip in here, guys, if you have a license, you'll get up to 50% discount by adding your own license. It's not mandatory. You can get a license included in the price, and we'll talk about it. Let's click next on disk. Out of the box, you'll have a premium solid state drive. You can add a standard solid state or a standard hard drive. The thing with it is that you'll have a change on the price. So based on that, you don't always have to have premium. Remember, if you're gonna have archiving, if you're gonna have slow computing requirements, you can go for HDD and save some money. Okay. Nevertheless, Azure gives you the option of going for SSD if needed. Let's keep it up with premium. We'll talk about networks in a future video with some details. The only thing we need to know here is that if we don't have a network created, we can add by default, as you can see here, a new network. You don't have to create it beforehand. Uh, Once we have the computer, we can add it directly over the creation as we are doing in here. Again, we'll talk about networks in the future, so this is just for us to know that we have a dependency directly over the computer. On the management, we already had one system account. That's perfect. Do you want to have a diagnostic log being saved every time the device boot? Yes or no? This is free. We can change this one and use it like that. If we decide to go for on, and we want to have also a catch on the operative systems that we add, we need to define a storage account, a location where everything will be put together. Okay, so this is like an archive solution where all the logs will be sent. This is the one we're creating in here. Do you want to have some managed identity by Microsoft? Yes or no? We'll talk about identity in a different video, but it's an option. Quick tip in here, guys. If you want to save some money, as long as the computer is shut down, you won't have to pay. When you start it again, you'll start resuming your account. So based on that, you can say, hey, I want the computer to shut down at 7 p.m. on Central Time. If you decide to go for something like that, like adding your Central Time solution, so it's -6 here, you have completely assurance that after 7 and up to 8 a.m. when you turn it on again, you will be saving money. So we can keep it up like this. You can drop a notification to the admin, or you can keep it up to you. If you talk about backups, you can enable a backup in here, create a new policy, and select the times and location. We have a different discussion about backups in the future. The important part from the virtual machine perspective is that you know that you can create the backup directly in here. Okay, you don't have to go to a different service. It can be added directly over the creation of your computer. So let's keep it up with off. We'll see the backups in a different location. On advanced, well, you have some extensions. Think about a PowerShell script, a startup script, maybe a policy, something you want to change the computer from scratch. Well, you can add an extension in here. We go for the tags. The tags will be keywords that we'll use to identify our computer. You can have anything you want. So I'm going to create one that says operative system, Windows Server 2016. Is it SSD premium? The answer will be yes. And then we can select something like size. And we'll go for basic tier 2. You can add spaces, you can add anything you want. I'm just showing you here some examples. The next computer you create will give you the option of using this type of tags. So you'll have an extended benefit for the next ongoing processes. We're sure about everything we selected, guys? Yes. Are we ready to create it? Yes. Let's click on next. Let's review the things we decided to have. Validation, you can see the name, the subscription, the size, etc. Whatever you're going to use, you scroll down, you have everything, and we click on create. As you can see, guys, the devices are being added. So we have the virtual machine, we have the extensions, we have the storage account, we have everything we needed and we defined during the creation steps. Once complete, the device will be ready and set to go. It might take between 5 and 25 minutes depending on the objects. Once complete, you have on the top a notification pane